Hey, Gospel Guitarist here, and with the promised video, I've been getting a few questions about the Roland GC1 GK3 equipped Stratocaster because it has a MIDI cable output and a traditional 1/4-inch jack that connects to the normal guitar. As you can see, I'm just using the MIDI cable right now. I think the confusion is that in getting our gear, a lot of times we really don't like to read things before we start playing with them. And it helps if you're going to use a synth to read up on this stuff because there's so many options that you can do. But I have my GR55 sitting here on top of, where I can reach it real quick for you, on top of my Roland GC1 I'm running the stereo synthesizer outputs into the return effects jacks on my amplifier. So all I'm using is the two 60-watt amps that are inside. The front preamp section of the guitar amp is completely bypassed when you use it that way. So all the synth sounds that you're going to be hearing are coming out of the GR55 going into the stereo return and playing through the okay, I got it set to a string ensemble just so it really is obvious. So the synth sounds, no matter what sounds I were to do in a performance of some kind, would be coming out of this amplifier, or I could have it the same connections running to a PA mixer, or I can run it into an acoustic amplifier. For the purposes right now, I'm using the JC120. It sounds good. It's almost as pristine as an acoustic amp. The acoustic amps sound a little better because they got a tweeter on them. So the nylon guitars, the really high frequencies of the nylon strings, you'll hear that a lot better and it'll have a more authentic sound. So what happens is, with just one cable, I'm able to route my two systems. Now I'm also running this half stack sitting here for the actual guitar mags. And you're probably wondering, well, how is that done when you're not plugged into your 1/4-inch jack? Well, the GK3 system that's built into the guitar, I think it's line number 7 on the MIDI cable, but don't quote me, I'm not going to swear that's the right number. But one of the lines inside your MIDI cable is actually carrying the output of the actual guitar. Okay, and it just takes that signal and it runs it to your synthesizer. Now I don't know about the other synths that are out there, so don't ask me about the other synths, but the GR55 has a guitar output jack. So the guitar signal is routed through the MIDI cable into the synthesizer, and at the synthesizer is where I can break out my guitar signal by running a guitar cable over here into my input on my normal guitar, half stack or combo, whatever I'm using for my normal guitar sounds. So with this little switch, if it's all the way down, I get this guy over here. If the switch is all the way up, I get only the synth sound. If the selector switch is placed in the middle, then I'm running both amps at the same time. And of course I can adjust the sounds with the volume of the synth or the volume of the normal guitar amp, and then the middle one is a tone control for your guitar. So that takes the mystery out. You don't need to run two cables at the same time. The other option here would be to just use this as a normal guitar where you don't use the MIDI cable and you just simply run a guitar cable to your guitar amp. And in that case, this switch has no effect whatsoever. But when you're using it as a MIDI guitar, you do not need to use a second cable for your guitar rig. On the GR55, I can also simulate my guitar rig without this big bad boy. So I can set this up inside. Right now it's set to just pass my guitar signal. Don't even mess with my guitar signal, just shoot it right back out that jack and don't touch it. But I can also tell it to put amp modeling, cabinet modeling, guitar modeling on that jack's output. So whatever's going out and hitting my amp, which in this case I wouldn't do it because it's a half stack, but I could route this out to an acoustic amp and have acoustic guitar simulation while I'm using a thin guitar or a normal electric guitar. Or if I want to do different guitar rigs, maybe some songs I want a Fender twin tone and other with a Tele, and then other songs I want a Marshall stack with a Les Paul. I can program those in here for the song sets and then run the guitar output to an acoustic amp or something like the JC120 that's really clean, and it'll recreate the actual sound of those stacks without carrying a Marshall stack and a twin to the gig and an acoustic amp to run the synth. So you can do it all through one rig. So you got your options, but you need to read up on this stuff very carefully on the manual. It's not real crystal clear, especially on GR55. It can get a little tricky because you got a master setting for your guitar output, but you also have individual settings for each patch that you need to set up. So like on this strings patch, it's set up to pass my guitar tone straight through the unit, and that's how I've done most of what's in my box. But that's the questions usually, do I have to use two chords? That's really cumbersome. And no, you don't. You just need the one. But you do need to learn how to use your guitar out on your synth. I hope that demystifies how you can set this up. It's really pretty cool, and it's really not that hard once you get used to doing it. And lots of options. So, and on the guitar itself, if you haven't seen the playtest of the pickups, I just released a video demo on that.